until then, Rob, let's go to a little bit of baseball. And interesting story by a great baseball reporter, Ken Rosenthal. And he was saying, Rob, that the one thing that scares the Angels as much as giving Ohtani losing Ohtani?
Right.
Is giving him the long-term contract. Like, he wants to be the highest paid player in the league. And look, he's doing double duty, which is the first person since Babe Ruth 100 years ago.
Not doing it that well this year, but we know he's a great player.
Yeah, exactly. And he's a draw. And so, Rob, go ahead. I want you to go first on this, but I got something to say about this.
No,
so go ahead.
I know you do. That's your guy. He has been.
Well, I'm objective. But
is that what it is? Okay. Chris, if I'm the Angels, I would look to move and trade Ohtani.
Wow.
I know you're saying you're Meshuggah, you're crazy.
I am. And you are.
As good as he is, Chris, you're not going to get to where you need to go without pitching for that team. They got rid of Joe Madden.
Isn't he a pitcher?
Yes, but he's a third starter. He's not an ace. Chris,
last year's ERA was better than Garrett Cole.
No, he pitched well, but I'm just saying the problem is there's not enough pitching with the Angels. So you already have Mike Trout. You have a bopper, a big-time player and hitter, right? Rendon they got from the Nationals, been hurt a lot, but they gave him a big contract. Remember, they had Albert Pujols for all those 10 years, Chris. Nothing happened because it's not just about hitting. They had Josh Hamilton, right? He was another one. And my point is, at some point, you got to have pitching. If you remember when Alex Rodriguez got that big deal, remember the big contract, Chris? The Yankees didn't give it to him. Texas Rangers gave it to him.
Right.
And they eventually had to trade him. And he eventually went to the Yankees, but because Texas had no pitching and they couldn't win. And I'm not saying he's not a draw and you would love to have him, but if they don't get that turned around, look how bad the team is now. Why, Chris? The pitching. They don't have pitching. And they got to get the thing on the pitching or they won't win. They won the World Series in 2002. I covered it against the Giants. Mike Scioscia was their manager, and they had a little something going. But since then, it's been a long, bad, rough patch for them, and most of it is pitching. I'm not blaming him, Chris. I'm just saying you already have one player. You gave Mike Trout $400 million. What was
Rendon got paid too.
Right, but Trout got $400 million. What are you going to give Ohtani? You're going to have two players making $400 million and no pitching? It doesn't make sense. That's it.
Rob,
I'm not knocking Ohtani.
If you're the owner of the Angels,
Moreno,
what are you in it for? What are you in it for?
You're trying to win a World Series.
Well, no, you're also in it to get players like Ohtani. Shohei Ohtani is arguably, Rob, you could say it's Aaron Judge. But arguably, Shohei Ohtani is the biggest draw in baseball. Is that fair?
I'd say he's up there. He's in the top three.
Tatis, when he's healthy, is up there. Judge is up there. And Shohei. As great as Mookie Betts, I think you'd put those guys ahead of Mookie as a draw. What am I doing this for? I want players that are great and draw fans. And, of course, I want to win. But, man, this is baseball. Barry Bonds, what? What did he win, Rob? 2 playoff series?
Right.
In his career?
He was in that World Series I was just talking about, Chris, in 2002. He batted .500, but they didn't win. Their pitching didn't get it done. You know what I mean? Like, he couldn't play any better, but no, he didn't win. He didn't win.
Right. But yet, if I had Barry Bonds on my team,
now they didn't have any empty
I wouldn't
seats
be
in
looking
San Francisco.
to trade him.
Right. No,
right. You and I have said, I mean, we know was extracurricular stuff going on.
Right.
But he's the best baseball player we've ever seen.
Yep. Most people, if you ask them honestly, will tell you that.
Right. And he won 2 playoff series. 2 in his career. Mike Trout, some people think he's the best player they've ever seen.
He's only been in one
playoffs.
Right.
Like, I'm not saying you're not trying to win. But I am saying when I got a superstar who is a draw, who is the most unique player in a century.
That's all fair.
I'm sorry.
Can't do it?
I can't. I mean, because Rob, we've talked about it. If I get rid of Ohtani, now you might say, you know what? I'm just going to go. I'm trading one great player for like ultimately 4 good players.
You might get like
But if they're good, but they're nameless, they're like Oakland's done, right? Since they started playing, Billy Ball and all that. I mean, is that what you want? Oh, they get to the playoffs here and there. But nobody knows their players.
Okay.
They're you know what I'm saying? Like,
right, it
is an entertainment sport as well, like the rest of them.
Okay, all right, here we go. Let me flip the script real quick. Then I got to trade Mike Trout if I'm keeping Ohtani. I can't keep them both, Chris. $400 million for both.
I might trade him before I trade Ohtani.
Okay, can you compromise? You see what I'm saying?
I mean, I wouldn't want to trade. I wouldn't. I hear you. I get the
I need some pitching
ramification.
Right. It's going to be $800 million for 2 guys.
And the one thing about Ohtani that scares me, and it's not particular to him. It's just the sport is what it is now. He could get hurt.
Yeah, I mean that
with the pitching, right?
Right. He could have a bad shoulder, and then you can't. You know what I mean, or something, and you can't hit with a bad shoulder either.
Right. So if it's a pitching injury, which is, let's face it, those are common, it could affect them just period. Trout, for the most part, he's going to be out there. I know he's had some injury issues recently, but Trout, Rob, is Trout a draw? I mean, as great as he is, he's the Tim Duncan of baseball.
No, I agree with that.
He doesn't win like Duncan, but,
No, right.
As far as superstar.
He's a great player, but
and
right. And it's nothing he can do. It's just not his personality. He's just not that guy like that. But I'm just thinking, if I'm Artie Moreno, the owner of the Angels, and I'm trying to figure out what am I going to do going forward, I got to figure something out. But if I want to win, and he won, I told you, 2002.
Right.
They won the World Series.
Right.
He was the owner. So, I mean, he's feeling like, okay, I won, but we haven't won in a long time. That was 20 years ago. 20 years. And they signed Albert Pujols. Remember that. Away from
he's been willing to spend.
Right.
And a lot of times it hasn't worked out.
So it's not that. It's like, it's just to decide which way you want to go, and if you had to give up somebody, because I just think you can get pitching for Trout. Somebody will give you some of their.
So you think, I mean, obviously you're losing a lot of hitting. You think the opposite way to go is to trade one of your batters?
Yes.
I would try to trade Rendon before I trade.
But
Rendon had a big contract too.
No, I know. That was a bad contract, and he's been hurt most of the time.
Right. So I'm trying. I mean, I ain't saying it'd be easy to trade, but I'm trying to. No, I'm trying to keep Mike Trout and Shohei Ohtani.
Okay, so you're gonna want to keep both.
I'm one of the. Let's put it this way, Rob. Are the Angels one of the bigger storylines in the league? And I'm not talking about the losing streak and firing Joe Maddon. I'm just talking about because of the star power.
Yeah, they were. They started off that way.
And they are.
Right.
They were and they are. Now, look, I'm not saying you don't make sense, because we saw what the Washington Nationals did, Rob. They let Bryce Harper left in free agency, and they won the World Series the next year.
Yep.
But baseball is the long game, right? Regular season, the season is long, and Washington, now they're not that good.
Right. But
they got their one World Series, but would you rather have Bryce Harper for all these years being a draw as one of the bigger stars in the league? I don't want to downplay a World Series, but you know where I'm going.
You know how hard it is to win, and
right.
you know.
Okay, but they got that one.
Right.
And now what? Are we thinking a lot about that one right now?
No, but they got to rebuild around Soto, and we just know Strasburg got hurt again. So, and for them to do it, a lot of things have to happen, and I hear you. But I just wonder, having those two doesn't automatically mean anything for you as far as winning, because we see how bad they were. Remember, we were talking, Chris, a month into the season. They were in first place. They were rolling. We were like, oh, we're going to see Ohtani and Trout in the postseason. And I know they're only about 4 games under 500. They're not out of it. But if they don't get better pitching and get some stud guy at the top of their rotation, they won't be able to compete in.
But even if I just look, that dude he's more than a superstar, Rob. He's just a unique, you know what I'm saying? Like, we haven't ever seen anything like him, in our lifetimes. And so I'm not giving that guy up if I don't have to, absolutely have to. I probably would give up Trout before him.
All right, that's fair. You got, like, if you had to make a choice, because
I try to keep both.
Right,
now, if I got to trade somebody because of the money, I'm looking at Rendon.
Right.
So it's tough.